up guys, Kev here and welcome on to Building a Tiny Lego City Episode 1. This is a new series that I'm going to try for a while as people have been asking for more mocks here on the channel. I tried building a tiny Lego city about a year and a half ago here on the channel and I honestly just kind of gave up after a while, like I kind of got sick of it. A year and a half later, I still think it's a pretty cool concept for a mock series, so I'm basically going to release an episode once a week kind of updating you on new buildings that I built and stuff, and yeah, it's going to be a fun little series here on the channel. I said straight off the bat, I would basically decide how big I wanted the buildings to be, and I decided each one would be about 8 studs by 8 studs. I might have a couple exceptions, but for the majority, all of the buildings in the city will be 8 studs by 8 studs. That means each building basically has 64 studs for me to cover, which is not a lot. I started the project off by basically just looking through a bunch of Lego bins to decide and look through just some bricks that I thought would be handy, as I don't really have my bricks organized like some people do. First building in my tiny city that I decided to make was a McDonald's, because I basically figured that I should start off with something that like I'm pretty familiar with. I see McDonald's all the time, so I'm like, yeah, I'll build an old-fashioned McDonald's. But after a while, I just wasn't really feeling the whole McDonald's vibe, and I decided to kind of turn it into like a mechanic auto shop, which I think is a pretty cool idea, and the colors honestly work pretty well for that. So this actually ended up going from a McDonald's to like an old school auto shop, and I'm honestly happy with like the transformation. Like the auto shop is honestly just as cool as McDonald's. Honestly, the completed auto shop just looks pretty great. I like all the tires like that I stacked up out front and sort of the like blinds over top of the roof there. And there's a big sign kind of above the auto shop with a tire with a bunch of smoke, which looks great, but the tire keeps falling off. I did use a pretty cool technique for that, but I think I'll have to adjust it in the next update. But I think it's a pretty solid start to the city, just have a little auto shop, and I think it turned out pretty cute, and yeah, I'm happy with the auto shop. And while I do love the auto shop, there's just so much color going on there that I decided to build a bigger, more like grand, kind of more basic looking building, but it honestly turned out looking even better than the auto shop, and that is the bank. There was a lot of experimenting for me to do with this one, but I ended up finding this really cool sort of window technique, so I get these really nice little windows inside of the bank, which just look amazing to me. I used more complicated techniques when I was building the bank, but after building the auto shop, I kind of knew what I was doing with these little buildings, so it was a little bit easier for me to build. And I'm very happy with the tan and white kind of color scheme that I had with this. It overall just looks really good, especially with the green of the money and the bushes next to it. It just all pairs together nicely. My gosh, the finished model just looked like so good to me. Like I love how clean it looks with the money sign up there. I also had a little street light. I plan to add more in future updates. The little window technique I used just looks straight up flawless. I'm definitely gonna use it in more buildings later, and yeah, it looks fantastic in my opinion. I also decided to start working on like the road system, so I made a 16x2 road with some cars in it that would just go along it, and overall it does look pretty cool. My only problem was it looked a little bit too flat for me. Like it was on the same level as the sidewalks and the rest of the buildings, and it just didn't look quite right. Like it looked very flat and not amazing in my opinion. So I basically ended up placing one stud on each corner of both of the buildings, and essentially what this did is it raised it slightly higher above the road, and it gave it this really cool like depth. So basically I made the road and the sidewalks at slightly different heights, and it just makes it look a lot more professional. Before the update officially ends, I did want to reiterate just how small the city is actually going to be. This is it on top of a real Lego city, and it's just tiny. It just makes for an incredibly unique and fun building challenge to build something at such a tiny scale while trying to pack as much detail as I can into it. I think that's gonna do it for episode 1 of building a tiny Lego city series. Overall, I'm quite happy in the direction that this little city is going, so make sure to stay tuned, as I should have an episode out in the next couple days, as I mean, it's almost the weekend, so yeah, I'll have another episode out soon. This is Seabrook Productions, sign off for now. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like to stay up to date with my latest content, and I'll see you guys later. Peace!